The state television company Western Armenia represents the most important news for today. Good day. Today's broadcast. The devoted citizen of the Republic of Western Armenia was awarded by the medal named after Poghos Nubar. The people of Artsakh fear that by accepting the citizenship of Eastern Armenia, the prospect of it returning to Artsakh may be closed. Artak Beglaryan. The US government reduced financial support to Baku. Islamized Armenians. Armenian identity. Cultural genocide. Music under the arcs of Saint Kiragos. According to the decree number 91 of 2022 of the first president of the Republic of Western Armenia, Artak Beglaryan, the dedicated citizens of Western Armenia are awarded by the civil medal named after Poghos Nubar. This medal is given to those persons who contributed to the establishment and development of Western Armenia with their active participation and dedication, particularly in the fields of culture, diplomacy, sports, and other fields. In 2024, on March 14, Simon Dalunyan, Vice President of the Republic of Western Armenia, was awarded by the civil medal named after Poghos Nubar. It is absurd and dangerous to claim that Armenians of Artsakh don't want to accept the citizenship of Eastern Armenia in order not to serve in the armed forces of Armenia. Artak Beglaryan, the former state minister of Artsakh, stated in his microblog that since October, thousands of Artsakh citizens wanted to enter the military service, but they were refused, forcing them to accept citizenship. I'm sure that in case of need, regardless of legal status, the vast majority of Artsakh residents will take up arms and defend Armenian motherland. In the coming year, the number of boys of the age of military service among Armenians of Artsakh will not exceed the number of several thousand. Therefore, the logic of Pashinyan's argument is incomprehensible. Why the rest of the majority of the people don't want to accept the citizenship if there are no boys of military service age in their families? In fact, in addition to the fears of a social nature, the vast majority have feared that by accepting the citizenship of Eastern Armenia, the prospect to return to Artsakh may be closed. Therefore, if you want that the people of Artsakh accept Armenian citizenship and miss, then you must ensure the political demand and steps for our collective return by Armenia. A citizen of Artsakh wants to live in Artsakh in a safe and dignified way, and it is not necessary to put this opportunity under additional pressure. We must be very careful not to promote additional negative settlements toward the people of Artsakh in order to avoid from baseless and artificial generalization. The US government reduced financial support to Baku. The American government reduced the financial support by $2 million allocated to Baku. Washington, however, does not clarify whether such a decision is due to the 907 amendment prohibiting military support to Baku, reports agency Turan. The media, referring to the statements of U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Rich Yerevan, notes that the U.S. government plans to allocate $12 million for the next year, which the official said includes support for economic growth, trade expansion, English language training, civil society and independent media, as well as human rights organizations and dialogue and confidence building in the region to reach the events. Section 907 of the Freedom Assistance Act of 1992 prohibits Washington from providing military aid to Baku, but after the September 11, 2001 terrorist attack on the United States, U.S. presidents have suspended the resolution until now to carry out counter-terrorism operations. In those operations, the territory of Baku was also used for supplies to Afghanistan, but after the withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan, the Baku factor weakened. This year, the ban on number 907 has not been suspended yet. Various processes take place among forcibly Islamized Armenians, some of which deserve special attention. Among them is the phenomenon of re-accepting of converting to Christianity. This problem is also in the center of attention of various Turkish structures, and work is being done in that direction, in particular on the initiative of the Turkish authorities in recent years. So throughout, research has been conducted on citizens who renounced Islam and accepted other religions, mainly Christianity. The problem was also examined in the context of activation of the missionary movement. It is presented how many houses converted into churches are functioning in occupied Western Armenia, how many gospels have been distributed to people, etc. With this, an attempt was made to answer the Turks converting to Christianity issue, which is being discussed quite actively. And finally, they came to the conclusion that the majority of converts are not Turks, but native Armenians living in occupied Western Armenia. Armenian identity, the basis of the common identity of Muslim Hamshanians. The division of Eastern and Western Hamshansi is largely based on the linguistic factor. Language is one of the most important markers of identity. However, when it comes to the Eastern and Western Hamshansi, this criterion is not enough to qualify these groups as distinct identities. The reason is that the remnants of the language of the group defined as Western Hamshans have found shelter in the Turkish language. In addition, they have a common perception of the past and shared cultural values with the Eastern Hamshans. There are no sufficient data on when the Hamshan language called the Western group disappeared, but some evidence allow us to make assumptions. One of those testimonies is a quote by Rudiger Benningaus from geologist Carl Litter. In themselves, as in ancient times, they have still preserved the Christian culture, but outwardly they follow the path of the Quran. Their women don't know any other language besides Armenian. This is evidence from the mid-19th century. Therefore, as a separate identity, the people of Hamshans and the residents called Hamshansi because of living in the settlement lived together in this geographical region. The interaction and tension between newcomers and locals is another subject of study. Let's be satisfied with only one example of interaction. During the period of Abdul Hamid II, a document said to have been commissioned by Hojaglu Tayyar Kebioglu Islami indicates that some families living in the region and several families living after the Russian-Turkish War was Muslim, and local leaders should have acted with these circumstances in mind. Baku probably destroyed the 14th century Armenian Khachkar in Tsar village of Shahomyan district of Artsakh, reports the Research Center of Historical and Cultural Heritage attached to the Ministry of Education in Eastern Armenia. At the center of reports referring to the photos published on the internet, Baku destroyed the memorial in the village dedicated to the memory of Armenian soldiers who died during the Artsakh War. The Khachkar 12 and 24 also disappeared from the village. Music under the arcs of Saint Kiragos. The renovation of Saint Kiragos church symbolizes more than revival of a temple. The idea of rebuilding on the basis of the church, which had been neglected for many years, was greeted with confusion by various circles. They would say, what is the use of building a church without people? This inquiry had two consequences. First, we saw that with the reopening of the church, a large number of Armenians who were completely separated before appeared and united. This was a victory for those who vowed to rebuild the church. Over the next few years, Amita was abandoned to the ruins of civil strife. Saint Kiragos Cathedral also got its share from the misfortune. This time there was a more serious potential in the city to stop the destruction and discretion, as a result of which the church was renovated and consecrated. Now Saint Kiragos is a place of prayer, a gathering place and a cultural center. Thus the Armenian songwriter and musician Stepan Yefremyan presented selected samples of Armenian music in a special concert. In the course of the program entitled Forbidden Serenade, videos taken from the Pan-Armenian experiences of recent years were also splashed on the poster, which gave even more shine to the music concert consisting of the works of Komitas, Vartapet, Sayatnova and Aram Tigran. This was all for today. Goodbye. Panagin salatlar sazin nama karim go. Este khurim manan stas yari sishim go. Panagin salatlar sazin nama karim go. Kunagari gashin bilasi deskurakta. Kishmel manasim silunas egolim diya. Kishmel manasim silunas egolim diya. Ramana gazdoma